Greetings, this is Paul the Poke from paulthepoke.com. Today's topic, trend update, Turkey tanks and the Iraqi border, and we're looking at November 2nd, 2016. What we're looking at here is a map of Turkey, and we're going to be focusing on Turkey and northern Iraq. And at issue here is what Turkey is doing up here on the northern border of Iraq and the southern border of Turkey. So here we have Mosul down here to the south in Iraq, and then up here on the Turkey border we have a border town. And for the last 2 days Turkey has been moving tanks, I mean by the convoy, by the train, by the truckload, into a town called Silopi, Turkey. President Erdogan has again pursued a more aggressive role. Tanks and armored vehicles have been deployed to the border town of Silopi, Turkey, and pictures of this are being released frequently by the Turkey military. Now, the defense minister of Turkey says they will cross into Iraq if necessary without Iraq's consent. And frankly, in the past here recently, Erdogan has not shown himself to be one who is bluffing. And the neat thing about this liveviewamap.com, it tells you what's going on. Tanks and armored vehicle deployment to Silopi continues, and again this has been going on since November 1st and today November 2nd. Now down to the south we have comments out of Iraq in Baghdad, and effectively the Prime Minister has warned Turkey not to enter Iraq or it will pay a heavy price. And so they're not willing to put up essentially with what would amount to Turkey's invasion of Iraq from the north. And so if I back this out a little bit, you can see here's the Turkey-Iraq border, and here's Mosul, Iraq. Now Iraq, in response, does what anybody would do in the 21st century. They send out a tweet warning any Turkish invasion will face the full force of the Iraqi PMU to defend our lands from Turkey. Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi, we're not after war, but if Turkey wants a war, we're ready for it. They say they will defend its land from a Turk invasion, and they're not going to take anything. And so welcome to warfare in the 21st century. And again, I'll have a link to this Twitter tweet if you're interested. Just how things are rolling these days. We're going to send out a tweet and tell you not to invade. Now the interesting thing about this is that Iraq has ties and support to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. Let's not forget Iran is just right next door here to the east. And the Iraqis that are primarily doing the fighting to get ISIS out of Mosul are Shiites. So you have Iraqi Shiites in coordination with Iranian Shiites who are trying to get rid of Sunnis out of Sunni being ISIS out of Mosul. And then you also have Turkey, who happens to be Sunni, and they think that they should be liberating their Sunni brothers in Mosul. And all of this is focusing in and around Mosul, which is, in the Bible, ancient Nineveh. And Turkey thinks that this belongs to them. They think ancient Nineveh, Mosul, Iraq, belongs to them. And if you remember, back on October 18 of 2016, Turkey had been providing some air support for the Mosul offensive against ISIS. And the Prime Minister, Binali Yildirim, said our air forces are taking part in the coalition forces' air operations in Mosul. And they also said that they had some, quote, military advisors from Turkey on the ground in and near and around Mosul, Iraq. And I have links provided below for MiddleEastEye.net and www.zerohedge.com. Now all of this is occurring as Iraqi special forces are starting to enter into Mosul to get rid of ISIS. And so we'll change this over. And this is a map of ISIS and what's going on in and around Mosul. So just again, so the yellow, this would be the Kurds. The red would be the Iraqi Shias. And then the black would be ISIS. And then here's Mosul right here in the middle. So as you can see, some of the in the eastern suburbs of Mosul, you're starting to get some Iraqi Shiite troops into the suburbs. Now the southern wing of this is still, approximately 20 miles away by some reports, although it looks to be a little bit closer today. But the southern front has not caught up with the eastern front, and the eastern front is clearly advancing the quickest. And this is from foxnews.com. And when they start to get into the eastern suburbs, this is when door-to-door fighting in neighborhoods is going to start, and casualties are going to increase. And the reason all this is significant, if we zoom in here on Mosul, well, just a second. There's downtown Mosul, and here's the ancient ruins of what is ancient Nineveh. Downtown Mosul, ancient Nineveh. This is the Nineveh of the Bible. This is the Nineveh that Jonah went to. And the book of Nahum lays out a prophecy concerning the destruction of ancient Nineveh, or what is today's 21st century Mosul, Iraq. And the bottom line is there's going to be lots of bloodshed per the verses, lots of fighting, lots of dead bodies, and then destruction comes with the flood. And the key verses are stated in Nahum 1 verse 8, but with an overflowing flood he will make a complete end of the adversaries and will pursue his enemies into darkness. Nahum 2 verse 6, the gates of the rivers are opened and the palace is dissolved. And this book was written in roughly 660 BC. Nineveh is the city and people in focus in the book of Jonah and the book of Nahum. And it once was the largest city in the known world. And today in the 21st century it's home to 1.3 to 1.5 million people. And that's per Wikipedia and the United Nations. And the thing we ultimately need to focus on is, how is a flood possible? Well, we can back this out. And we can see how, and you can see why. Just north of Mosul is the Mosul Dam, and it holds back a lot of water. And roughly 150 million people live in the Tigris River Valley. So if you're interested in that, I have a link provided to paulthepoke.com, trend update, Nineveh Mosul Dam, and then also for scripture, linking Meshech, Tubal, Beth Dagarma, Gomer to modern-day Turkey, paulthepoke.com. Another link provided. Appreciate you guys listening. Take care. Have a good day. Bye.